have done this and put it together. So thank you all, you know who you are. And at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Tom Steffen, our moderator, and he will take over the whole night.
Thank you, Jean. And I do appreciate being here. We were here 2 years ago. Well, actually, we were in the community room at the Sage Center 2 years ago, so some of you may remember what we did there. We're doing basically the same thing tonight. I will be asking all of the candidates 3 questions. They will go in this order. The first round, we will go alphabetically. That means we'll start with Mrs. Video. Second round, we will go reverse. That means we'll start with Mrs. Wright. And the third round, I have no idea. I'm just going to pick and choose. But anyway, what we would like to do is we have a timer. Oh, the one thing I've been asked to remind everybody is the only person in this entire room who should be playing with a cell phone or anything like that is our timekeeper. She's keeping time with her phone. So if you would silence your phones, we would appreciate that. And I know the candidates would, because when they're trying to express their answers, they really don't need any kind of disruption from a cell phone ringing. First, we are going to ask each candidate to introduce himself or herself. He or she will have up to 3 minutes. They don't have to take 3 minutes if they don't want to. I'm just saying that our lovely timekeeper will cut them off at 3 minutes if necessary, correct? Yes. So it is she that you want to keep your eye on. But we'll start with Mrs. Bedio. You have 3 minutes to talk about yourself and anything you would like the group to know regarding your candidacy.
I'm on the ballot as Geraldine Bedio. My friends call me Jerry. And I've lived here in Stowe for over 44 years. I have 3 children who are grown, 7 grandchildren, and I'm a former employee of the Stowe Monroe Falls City Schools. I'm retired now, 7 years, and enjoying every minute of it. The most important thing I'd like to tell you is that I have been very active in going to the school board meetings, being inquisitive, if you want to call it, as far as asking questions, doing research on things that come before the board. I have attended every 7 years that I've been retired at the school board meetings, and I've even gone to the executive at the school board when they have emergency type meetings. In fact, I was there today. I'm very interested in the school. I'm interested not only in our education, but into the courses that have been done away with, such as the wood shop, the metal shop, and maybe seeing that some of the courses that we can put into, besides getting children ready for college, is getting them ready for trades. And I know we're in the 6th District Compact, and there are other opportunities with the other schools, but I think things that we've offered in the past need to be expressed, because not every child is going to college. I think I'm well qualified to be on the board. Like I said, I've attended all 7 years, been interested in what has happened with them. And not only that, but I have done my research on issues and expressed my opinion. Thank you for all coming, and I thank the PTA Council for having us. Thank you.
Mr. Egan.
Okay, thank you. My name is Dave Egan, and I'm 63 years old. I'm retired. I've lived in Stowe for 29 years. We have a son who went through the Stowe school system. I'm married, I believe I mentioned that. And I served as a technical service manager for primarily BF Goodrich Chemical in the plastics industry for about 40 years. And I believe, I'm qualified to serve on the school board, and I am for a very good reason, and that is that I have the ability to immerse myself in any given subject. And by that I mean, when I was working, I really had a passion for the products I worked with. And as a result, and I don't want to come across as boasting, but because of that, I developed over the years a reputation, and in fact it was a worldwide reputation, as being an expert of the technology of the products that I was associated with. So if I'm elected to the school board, I'll use that same approach in attempting to be an authority when it comes to the Stillman Monroe Falls School. And as I mentioned, I value the education that I have for my entire life. We'll get to this as far as my platform goes, as far as what I feel about budgets, but basically that's the summary of who I am and what I stand for.
That's fine, thank you, Mr. Egan. Next up is Mr. LeConte.
Good evening, my name is David LeConte. I have 2 children in the district. Actually, Lena will be starting all-day kindergarten in the fall. Jacob's in 3rd grade at Woodland. I'm by trade a college professor. I teach criminal justice, emergency management, and homeland security. And that's really what brought me here this early. I was considered running for school board. I thought it might wait till my children were a little bit older, but I decided that this might be the time when I can selfishly affect them the most. But what immediately brings me here was my participation on the mayor's school safety task force. And I think that was a good start, but I think there's still things that need to be done with regard to safety and security in our school system. I consult for the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Department of Homeland Security. I'm the Associate Director of a Emergency Management Homeland Security Center at the University of Akron. I do have a lot of expertise in risk management and security administration, critical infrastructure protection that I'd like to bring to bear, physical security to the district. However, I've been an educator for 16 years. I have 16 years of experience in higher education. I've won 4 teaching awards, 3 in my department and 2 for my college. I teach primarily 1st and 2nd year students. So I see what's going out of our high schools, and I believe strongly that diploma should mean something. I see what our college freshmen can do in terms of their writing skills and their problem-solving skills and their critical thinking skills. And I think this video is right. Only about 30% of the students are going to go to college, so that diploma really needs to mean something. So I emphasize 21st century skills. I've been doing a lot of research on that. Core disciplines, core subjects are important, but we certainly need digital literacy and understand something about economics and the global environment that we live in, and a few other 21st century skills and themes moving forward. We also have to ensure that our students have the technology they need to succeed. The world has changed. The challenges that our children are facing are not the same challenges that we faced. And I hope I can be a positive voice and add to this conversation. Thank you very much for coming out tonight.
Thank you. Ms. Matthews.
Thank you, Tom. And I too have to thank everybody for coming out tonight. I didn't realize I couldn't hand out my flyers, so I was going to start with, you could look at my bio, but I guess now you can. Been a resident 40-some years in Stowe. I have 3 children that graduated from Stowe High School and 4 grandchildren that graduated from Stowe High School. So I know what our schools are like. They're awesome. That's all I can say. Why am I asking you for your vote? I'm experienced. I was on the board for 4 years. I don't have a learning curve. I can remember one of the past members of the board saying it's going to take a year for you to learn. She was right. She definitely was right. Our system is so complex and there's so much to it that you really are learning on the job. The other thing I learned when I was on the board was it's a huge responsibility. We actually can, 5 of us, 5 people, can determine which way the school district is going to go. We're responsible for the students, we're responsible for the employees, and we're responsible for the community. It's a huge, huge task. So anyway, I said I think I'm good for the job. I can jump right in. One of the hardest things I had as a school board member was when we had to make close to $8 million in cuts. And I kept on saying, oh my goodness, we cannot touch the classroom, we can't touch the classroom. And that was the most important thing for me, was that the students come first. Why? I have 21 years as a retired teacher, so the kids are very, very important to me as to which way we go as a community. I know also what's coming down the pike from Columbus, and I'm really concerned with the report card and the evaluations, and I want to get in there. I want to be there. I want to be a part of this because I have experience as a teacher. I've been in a classroom. I know what it takes, and I know where the students are coming from. So that part of me also is, the top task that we have ahead of us. And speaking of that, I am, and I will fight for it if I get on the board, or even if I don't get on the board, as some of the people know, I want all-day kindergarten in Stowe. I mean, we're going to have our third graders tested for reading, and we have 1/2 of our population that are not all-day kindergarten. Something's wrong with that message. So that is my plan. And I know before I left, I was instrumental in getting 2 levies passed, so I want that money. I want it for the kindergarten teachers. But anyway, that's my big dream. The other part of me was that, okay, we have a community. If the schools are not good, your home is not going to be any good. I'm vested. I have a home in Stowe. I want the value of my home to continue to be what it is. So, okay, I see I'm time. I almost made it this time. First time in 3 times. First time. Okay, but thank you, and thank you for coming.
Thank you, Beth. Mr. Rainey.
Good evening. My name is Bob Rainey. I've been a resident of Stowe for 10 years. And the reason that me and my wife moved to this city is because of the school systems. We were looking to start a family, and we knew that Stowe had a very good reputation as being a very good school system. And luckily, through the last 10 years, we've been able to find out that reputation is very well deserved. Our 2 daughters go through the systems. They both went through Indian Trail. My oldest is now in Lakeview. There are a couple things that I think that I can kind of help out with, though. I'm going to give you a little bit of my background, and kind of you'll see why I think I can help. I grew up in Cleveland, pretty much as far as you can away from the city and still call yourself being from Cleveland. My dad was an executive downtown. My mom was a substitute school teacher. I went to Holingham High School, and about a month after I left high school, I was in Orlando, Florida, as part of the Navy boot camp. After boot camp, I went through the Navy nuclear pipeline, which is considered the most rigorous academic program in the United States military. And after graduating from that program, I went to serve on the USS Miami, which is a fast attack submarine out of Groton, Connecticut. I served there for 4 years, multiple tours, including 2 combat tours, both in Iraq and Kosovo in 1999 and 2000. I learned a lot there. I was, again, the nuclear pipeline. I did a lot of mechanical work in the engine room. I was an engine room supervisor where I could kind of be in control of that engine room. I came out of the military with my honorable discharge, moved back to the area to start my family, start my career, and took a series of jobs working with technology. I was working for Swagelok. I was fixing multi-million-dollar machines. I moved into the CAD department, learned to use computers, and I worked up to the job I have now, which is designing MRI coils for GE Healthcare. I also run the 3D printing lab. If you don't know what 3D printers are, they're these awesome machines that can turn anything you can design on a computer into an actual part using basically weed whacker wire. It's very important. And the reason I'm telling you all this bio is because I like to believe that I could bring that technology, bring that expertise into our school systems and help shore up some of the areas where we're not doing quite as well. Our math, our science. My technical background, I like to be able to get in there, do a lot of work, make sure we're raising up those scores while keeping our core competencies as high as they are, our reading, our social studies. So that's why I'm asking for your vote this November. I also like to make sure that we're fiscally responsible. I like to make sure we have a lot of community involvement, like you all here tonight. Thank you very much. And even work on some adult continuing training, maybe, if we get some of the other school issues settled for the kids. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rainey. And finally, Ms. Wright.
Hi, good evening. My husband and I have 4 children. 3 of them have graduated from Stowe, and 1 is still in Stowe High School. We did move here because of the schools, and as a school and community effort, I think that's what we need to continue. It's always a positive image for both, and they should work hand in hand. And as we go along, as I've been on board for 6 years, currently serving as president, that is a main focus, besides the school funding, and the school safety has once again become a big priority, I should say. And as far as being on the board, there's this value of education and the love of learning. And when you can be a part of providing our students in this district the opportunities that will lead them to their future. They're not, again, all going to go to college. It'll be a technical degree. It'll be something that will forward them, that will make them good citizens. And I think that's very important as they leave our high school. There's a lot of things that they can do. A lot of our 6-district compact is instrumental in a lot of that. There's new opportunities in that respect. So, you know, I think it is our responsibility to help them and give them the best that we can, of course, with the funding available. And therein lies a big problem with that funding. And as the next couple years go on, I think that should be a big focus too, for everybody to be able to understand it and help us as a group get to those people to change how our schools are funded. And just keeping our district excellent. We are a good district, we are a great district, we have great staff, but even as those changes come in our report card and our value added and all of that, it's a constant change. So in that, it is a lot of work, and I just want to be a part of that future for those kids as these changes come. Technology is another big change. And I think a lot of it is communication, just keeping that community, school communication as an important issue too. Thank you very much.
And thank you to all of our candidates. I would like this lady right here to come over here. I just want a witness. If you will tell them, I have all these cards upside down. I have no idea how they were laid out because I laid them out, I don't remember. But anyway, they're upside down, right?
Right.
Okay, so I have no idea what I'll be pulling, and she's affirming that. What we're going to do is ask each candidate one of these questions, and we'll do it again. We have 3 rounds, as I said. We'll be starting alphabetically this time. I want to thank, where is she? I want to thank Ms. Crockett. She and her board came up with these questions. There will be no questions from the audience until afterward, if you so desire. You can ask anybody anything then. These are the questions that we'll be using tonight. So, Mrs. Bedio, you get to go first, and I'm going to use this card. How important is the gifted program in our school system?
I think the gifted program is extremely important. There are a lot of children who have a very high IQ. The AP courses need to be expanded to keep them intrigued with their education. I think that a lot of our students are left in the midstream because they're overlooked. And I think that the gifted program gives them a chance to express what they want to learn.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Egan.
Okay.
With the change in traffic patterns with the proposed circle at the Marhofer property, what do you propose for buses at Indian Trail that use that route but can't maneuver the circle? Well, you're an engineer, you should be able to figure that out.
I was an engineer.
Oh,
I'm retired now.
I just read them.
Yeah, I know. First of all, I don't think, I could be wrong, but as far as the school board goes, unless I don't know the definition of what the school board does, I don't think that is an area that we would have to address. If you want to tell me, or ask that once again, as far as
With
the traffic pattern.
With the change in traffic patterns with the...
Well, first of all, I'm not familiar with the change in traffic pattern.
Well, the proposed, okay, the circle at the Marhofer property, what do you propose for buses at
What
Indian?
do I propose?
Well, what would you propose if you were on the school board? Because it would be up to the school board, would it not? Yes.
Yeah, yes, what?
It would be up to the school board to make some decisions regarding...
To dictate a change in the traffic pattern.
Probably collaboration with the.
Probably a collaboration between the board and the...
Well, then that's my answer, then I will make a decision, okay? All right. I believe on matters like this, I could be wrong, but think there are sources to consult on, in terms of the technicalities. If I'm not mistaken. And so, I mean, if it's just up to the board, I don't think there's any of us on this board that have any expertise on traffic patterns. Vis-a-vis a circle or whatever, you know. So that, with that in mind, I would adhere to those as far as the consulting capabilities at the city level.
Fine, thank you.
Well, it's fine. What's that?
Mr. Lacotte. What is your position regarding the IB, the International Baccalaureate Program?
Well, you know, the intent of IB was essentially to take best practices internationally and distribute them. I'm aware of the political controversies surrounding IB. I stay away from that. I would ask the question, at this point, the relevance of offering IB at one elementary school. As a college professor, we take IB coursework for credits. But that's, you know, the secondary level. Those are students who've gone through high school. So my question is, why is it at Woodland where my kids are? Is it worth the expense? I think those are the issues when it's being offered in Indian Trail. But I would also state, and this might not be a surprise because I teach, I put priority on what the teachers want, what pedagogy they wish to use. If the teachers find a great deal of value, they're the experts. I don't think teachers are the enemy. So if the teachers at Indian Trail made the determination that IB matches how they're going to meet the Common Core goals or whatever goals we're going to have down the road, then I'm going to stick with the teachers. That's the end of my answer.
All right. Ms. Matthews. Do you know about online schools and what is your opinion on that?
I do know about online schools, and I know with the digital technology that is out there, that that's going to become a part of, I think, all schools in America. I think it needs some control to make sure that whoever is in charge of those online schools, that they are good ones. I know with our new testing, I believe we're going to be going digital, if I'm not mistaken. So this is the name of the game. I mean, this is the way children nowadays are learning. And it's something that we have to maybe catch up with our students. And no, I'm not opposed to it. I just want it to be controlled, to make sure that whatever is going to happen, that we are in charge of it.
All right. Mr. Rainey. How would you, as a board member, try to keep the school district translucent and accountable to the taxpayers?
That's a great question. That's kind of one of the reasons why I'm running for the school board. I want to make sure we have a lot more community involvement. I've been going to the school board meetings for a little over a year now, ever since my daughters both won the Stolian Award a couple of years ago. And there's usually you get a lot of interest from the people who are at that school when we're doing the traveling school board meetings. But I'd really like to make sure that we're getting a lot more involvement. And one of the kind of I was brainstorming about what things we can do, and some of the things is like have some board meetings in unusual places. For instance, we had that Stowe Summer Blast. We had a lot of participation. That was great. Why can't we have a school board meeting there? Even if people weren't planning on coming, they're going to be there. Maybe they'll get interested, and maybe we convert a couple people to come to more board meetings. Getting more involved. I really want to make sure the community is involved, making sure that everything that the board is discussing, first of all, is actually discussed. I know we do have some problems. Not everything gets discussed. It's a lot of, I don't want to say closed doors, but a lot of the discussion kind of gets skipped over. I like to make sure that we fix that. We have a lot of discussions because you need to know why we're doing what we're doing, not just that we're doing it. So we get more people there. We get a lot more communication out to the community. That would be a great thing. I like to make sure that everything that we have a lot of technology we use to get some of the meeting information to you people, to the community. We have videos, we have board docs online. I like to make sure we can streamline that maybe a little bit, make that a lot more accessible to the public, and see if there's things we can do to kind of drive people using that. And that's my answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Wright. What is your opinion of outsourcing busing and other district services?
My opinion about outsourcing. Outsourcing is a tool that would be used or could be used to save dollars in the school district. But more importantly is you would do it not at the expense of your employees. The employees are your priority too, but as taxpayers' dollars are our responsibility and how they're used are definitely, part of that responsibility. Outsourcing sometimes might be looked at, but again, there has to be a way to make sure that as you do that, if you do that, that your employees are going to be taken care of, they're going to be with their jobs, and you just make the transition if that fits for your community and for your district. Sometimes it won't fit, sometimes it will, and when the time comes, we'll know. Thank you.
That brings us to the end of round one. Round two begins with Ms. Wright.
Outsourcing again?
No. What will be the biggest challenge for this school district in the next 10 years?
Just one thing?
You may answer it however you wish.
Unfortunately, the money is the root of all that, if you have enough, it's always going to be wonderful, and you can provide for those wonderful things, whether it's technology, whether it's professional development. Professional development is going to be very important in the future. It's not going to be, again, taught the same way, learned the same way. Teachers are going to have to do different things with that technology and with the testing and how they're evaluated. So again, money is part of the source. I don't want to say that's the main objective, but it does help you do those things that for the future that we are going to need. And there are, I think, even not in 10 years, but in even 2 years. Even now, like I said, the constant change. It's going to be difficult to keep up. It's going to be between, the staff and the students. We have our hands full, and it's, again, related to that state report card. That is going to be something that we have to deal with, we have to learn, and we have to provide for our kids so that we can always make that grade and stay excellent.
Thank you. Mr. Rainey. What is your position on the new Common Core standards?
Common Core. Well, apart from the standards themselves, there's always, there's a big political controversy. The thing that I take away from that is I like making sure that we have local control. I like to make sure our teachers can teach what they want, what the district, the parents feel is appropriate to be taught. I don't like a lot of centralized planning. I like to make sure that we have things localized and we have a lot of our own control. But at the same time, I understand that we need to make sure that we do meet certain benchmarks, we do meet certain goals, and we are learning that the kids are learning what we're saying that they're going to be learning. So I'm not as familiar with it as I could be. I need to do some more research once again the board, see kind of some of the things that have been coming before the board, and make a more informed decision, I guess you would say. But I do like making sure that we have local control, making sure the teachers and parents have as much control as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Matthews? What should the district do with the increasing need for special education?
Wow. That's been a very difficult job that we have had to have as public education. We have to continue to meet each of the needs of all of our students. And that includes our gifted, that includes our special needs students. The problem that might come is the fact that if we don't get the federal funding to correspond to the needs of these students, it's gonna take a chunk out of our money situation. We have some students that may need 4, maybe 5 adults to be with them throughout the school day, and that doesn't include the special busing, etc. But as long as that is our mantle, I think we need to continue to do the best job that we possibly can within our means. Many of these